efficacy do you want to have right now? Let me see it in the chat box. Let's do a little play in the chat box to relax. Oh, granola with yogurt. Okay, I see pounded yam, vegetable and bush meat. Yes, bush meat. To get real good bush meat, to take a lot. You know, I'm sure Emmanuel remembers his childhood time. Okay, Innocent says ukwa. Chibuike says fufu and quality white soup. He said quality, quality white soup. He put a future to his white soup, quality white soup. Okay, let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, pounded yam with melon soup with pepper turkey, assorted meats and skin. Okay. Nice, nice. This is from Rashidat. Nice. Okay, keep it coming. You know, sometimes as educators, we need to treat ourselves. Okay, we need to take ourselves out. I see Mohammed says ituwo and baoba soup. Okay. Eforiro with semovita with lots of fish and meat. Ukwa with orishi-rishi. Hey, this orishi-rishi that Mr. Innocent mentioned. Peppered fish, vegetable sauce with red wine. Eloho. In fact, you're on point. With red wine to step down. We need to treat ourselves. We need to appreciate ourselves sometimes. That particular spare, just take yourself out. You know, for us to be a STEM educator, it's a lot of work. And sometimes along the way, take yourself out. Give yourself a good treat. Okay? Not only imagine it, but do give yourself a good treat. It's going to help you. It's going to boost your morale. And don't feel guilty about it. That's one thing. We feel guilty about, caring for ourselves, for self-love. Don't feel guilty about it. Take yourself out. Look at your works and say, oh, it is good. And on the seventh day, the Lord rested and he looked around everything he created and he said, oh, wow, this is good. And the Lord said it is good. So you need sometimes to look around on the things you have done as a STEM educator all these years and take yourself out. Oh, good. Abula with amala and a buffet, hot goat meat pepper soup. Garnish spaghetti. This garnish spaghetti is from which country? I'm sure with seafood, with a lot of peri-peri. Okay. Yeah, Aggie from Botswana, welcome. Oh, Kemi says peppered snails with chilled yogurt. Nice. Okay, good one there. Good one there. Oh, I see everyone is so relaxed now. Nice one, nice one. Okay, catfish pepper soup with imported aromatic herbs. Ruth, this is the first time I'm hearing this one. Oh. Imported aromatic herbs. Victoria says abacha, bushmeat and palm wine. Oh, remembering childhood days at the village. Nice to be here. I believe enough good here. Oh, nice to be here also, James. Thank you for coming, logging in this early. Thank you so much, everyone. Prof, I haven't seen your own meal yet. What would you like to take, Prof? Or you tell us on the microphone. Hey, are we recording? Prof, okay, it's recording. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm recording. Thank you.
Oh, I said I have not seen your meal yet.
Okay. I can't really think of one now, but I think if I have a pounded yam with vegetable, it will not be a bad idea with some dry fish.
Oh, nice. Nice one. Me, I think what I would love to do is try out, there's a dish I've been running away from, which is seafood. There's this spaghetti. I've even forgotten. I can't even pronounce it. But when I see it, there's a lot of seafood, and I'm really skeptical about seafood. But I would love to try something that has a lot of different oyster, seafood in it, just to experiment. That's what I would love to. Say, Mohammed say, which one is aromatic? It sounds like chemistry. Exactly, Mr. Mohammed. When I saw that aromatic from who said that? Mrs. Roots. When I saw the aromatic herb, I said, oh, nice. Nice one. Nice one, everyone. I'm happy that we're all calm now. Yes, we're all calm now. Oh, good. All right. Um, okay, so let's quickly go into our meeting. Let me share my screen quickly. Give me some minutes. Okay. Prof, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, your screen is visible. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So welcome to today's session of the workshop 6, PhET and AI training. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at interactive design, activity design with PhET simulation. And the first 10 to 20 minutes, in the next 20 minutes, first of all, I'll be taking your questions. Anyone having issues with the Coursera course? If you're having any issues with the Coursera course, I would quickly take it now. You can raise your hand and you speak quickly. If you're having any issue with the Coursera course, the Coursera platform, the first course that was sent, if you're having any issues, let me know. Okay, I see Innocent. Innocent, okay. Innocent would, wait, hold on. Let me go to the participant box and see who raised. Okay, Victoria. Victoria, you can speak. Yes, Victoria Allison, you can unmute and speak. What issues are you having?
Hello, ma. Good evening, ma.
Yes, good
Hello?
evening. Good evening, we can hear you.
I've not received the course, the introductory course, and I've registered since. So I've been complaining. I don't know what happened. But I used to get message like this afternoon session. I got the message, but the course, no way.
Are you sure if you are receiving my message, then you should have received the course? Oh?
I've not seen the course. I wonder.
Have you searched, wait, hold on. Have you searched, hold on, let me, because I know that I also put myself in the loop. So whenever we're sending, wait, hold on. Just give me a minute. I don't know what's wrong with the internet, but my system is dragging. Just 1 minute, please. Yeah. Please, can we stop annotating on the screen, please? I want to quickly open up my other email to show you how it looks like. Okay, because we resent it again this afternoon. So I made sure I'm in the loop. Just give some minutes for it to open, please. Oh, sorry. I don't know who is having any difficulty today with Chrome or the internet. The internet has been bad. I don't know if it's only in Lagos or somewhere else. Just 1 minute, sorry. Still loading. My mail is still loading. Apologize for this, but let me check. I have an issue. I am done with the first part, but no certificate. I'm done with module 1. In the first course, which is called Introduction to PhET, there are several modules, not just one module. You have to finish several modules before, when you submit, then when you are graded, you will receive your certificate. That is how it's done. Mr. David. Okay, Mohammed, your issues have been resolved yesterday. Okay, Mr. David, I've answered your question. There are several modules. I have an issue. What's the issue? If you're having an issue, please tell me the issue. Okay. Good evening, ma. I also have the same issue. Network has been terrible for days now. Yes, I've noticed that. Timothy Duru, you are raising your hands. What's the issue? You can type in the chat box. Wow. Wow. To open my mail, this is serious. What do I do? What do I do?
I think we can, okay. I think what we can do is to get the email of those people who have specific issue and let it be escalated to Rebecca.
Okay.
I believe she will attend to it as soon as possible. So those people should just drop a short message about the challenges they have, especially those who have not received the invitation, because I know a few of them were resolved in the course of the week. So
yes,
give us your email you used to register and let's have it so that we can escalate appropriately.
Okay, but this is how the mail looks like. Join Nigeria workshop, introduction to PhET simulation. This is the way, this is what it looks like. So what you can do is to just, how am I going to say? What you can do is to just search for PhET, search for the word PhET in your entire mailbox. Just come to search mail, search for the word PhET in your entire mailbox. It should bring it up. That's all you need to do. Search for the word PhET in your entire mailbox and it will bring it up. Okay? That's what you should do. All right, but because if you're receiving mails from me that I send directly, it means that we have sent to you. We have sent the Coursera invite to you. So it's somewhere in your mailbox. Or except you, Victoria, did you register for this course last year? Victoria Allison, did you register for this course last year?
Yes, I registered, but I was unable to complete it because of some.
Okay, that's the issue you're having.
That's the issue. That's the issue.
That's the issue you're having. So, okay, no problem. So if anyone is receiving my mail and you're not receiving Coursera, it's because you are already registered. So it won't send it to you. Okay, so after the course, after today's workshop, just drop your name and your email in the chat, in the group, and I will work on it. I have to remove you from the database and re-invite you. That's what would happen. Okay? All right. The final person, Eloho, please, can you unmute and quickly speak? What's the issue?
No, we can barely hear you.
In the WhatsApp group, I want you to send me your name and your email. Okay, that's what you're going to do. Your name, your full name and email, because I have to remove you from our database and re-invite you. So that's what you do, Kennedy. I'm answering people in the chat box. Received the emails, couldn't sign into Coursera because I made an error and entered the paid course. That you have to follow that document. Follow the document, please. I am done with the second course, whole class. I submitted assignments, but didn't. Please, you have to be patient. Others have to review your work, Mr. Mohammed. Okay, so Mr. Kennedy, you need to refer to the Google Doc in the group, okay, for you to resolve this issue. I am done with course 1. I have received the second report. Course 2 prompted. It means that you enrolled from the website. So you have to unenroll. Please refer to the Google Doc. You have to unenroll and re-enroll back. All right. So please refer to the Google Doc on the group. Okay, so I think that's all. All right, that's all. That's all we can take for now. All right, so Dr. Kemi, are you on the call? Dr. Kemi. Hello?
Yes, I am. I was muted.
Hello?
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute, Dr. Kemi. Eloho, can you quickly speak? Okay, Eloho, do you know what? Type in the chat box. I will reply you there. I will reply you in the chat box, okay? So we are going to today's session. We are quickly entering into today's session, and we're going to start with AI. All right, you must have been seeing AI in the workshop, and we haven't really spoken deep down about AI in STEM education. So Dr. Kemi, who is a lecturer in OOU University, she is going to put us through an AI expert, okay, in the AI industry. She's going to put us through AI in STEM education. All right, so I'm going to leave the floor now for Dr. Kemi. Please let us welcome her with a round of clap of applause. Okay, let's see the reactions, the emoji. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now and over to you. You're muted. You're muted, Dr. Kemi, in case you can't.
All right. Can you hear me now? I'm sure you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll be using two devices, one to share and the other to join.
No problem.
And okay, so let me quickly share my slides so that we can, as we say it here, hit the ground running.
Yes.
Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll be doing that now. Okay. Yes. Okay, so this evening we will be speaking about integrating AI into the STEM education. And basically we're looking at the what, the why, and the when and the how of integrating STEM into integrating AI, into the STEM education, and how we need to prepare our students for the future, why we're even considering this. But before we go on, just to kind of read the room and have a feel of the people, what level of comprehension and expertise that we have in the house where AI is concerned. So I would just appreciate if you can use the chat box to rate yourself within this grades levels 1 to 5. If you haven't even really started using AI, you're not too keen, you give yourself a 1. If, well, yeah, I'm trying to get myself comfortably using 1 or 2 AI tools, give yourself a 2. You're confidently using a few tools that you've learned, give yourself a 3. You are an explorer when it comes to AI tools, 4. And then you are an expert. You don't only use, you also develop tools yourselves and all that. You give yourself a 5. So, okay. So I can see some 4s. So we have some experts in the house, deep explorers in the house. We have, okay, a few 1s, majority 3, 4. Okay. That's, oh, we do have a 5. Yeah, so I've seen a 5. So we do have an expert in the house and all that. So that means I'm going to be very careful with what I say or what I don't say here, since we have an expert in the room. But notwithstanding, it's good that we have, we're not all we are not all on the same level, but we are not. There isn't anyone who really. You don't have too many people that are not yet using AI, and so that kind of keeps us in the midpoints of today's. So at least I know that we have some people who have responded with one, and so I would. It's for those who are experts, you permit me to carry everyone along, because sometimes we do the assumption that, oh, it is a common thing, this is a common application, or it's because of the hype, everybody would have heard about AI or use AI. And funnily, recently, and when I mean recently, just some months ago, we did a very live survey, and we covered, because we did a project recently for AI in pedagogy. And before we started that training, we took in data from teachers, and we had over 4,000 responses across the various regions in Nigeria, private, public, federal schools, and all that. And it was not just, we did have people who have never heard of AI. I'm not talking about those who are not using AI, those who haven't heard about artificial intelligence in the first place amongst our teachers. And so if we had gone on without that data, and of course we had quite a number who hadn't used it, or who were using it and hadn't even had any training on it before, and so they were just randomly using it, not really purposively and intentional about it. And so that data was really an eye-opener, not to assume that because something is in the hype, everybody is on board with it or everybody knows about it. And so basically, for those of us who are in the ones and the twos, we know that AI basically is a branch of computer science. And what it normally does, it's creating systems that kind of perform the task that you would require human intelligence. And when I always say that artificial intelligence is what it is, artificial. There is the human intelligence, which is original, that the system is trying to copy. So it's trying to think, it's trying to create, it's trying to adapt, it's trying to learn, and it's, so that's what AI really is about. It is not conscious, and it's not capable of true creativity. AI doesn't think on its own. AI thinks on the data that it is fed on. So if it hasn't seen green, it doesn't know that it's supposed to, let me see, what if I mix green and blue together? What will it give me? Unless it's told green and blue gives you purple or whatever it is, it uses the data that's already been imputed to give you the output that you want. And so it is not, it's not a magic wand. It's not and if you check most of the AI applications you use, there's always a disclaimer at the bottom that says that this application can make mistakes. Always verify the information it gives. So shows you that it still has limitations. So it's meant to augment us. It's a tool, and that's what it is, a tool that's meant to assist human capabilities and not replace our human intelligence at all. I know most of the reservations that educators have had with this is because they feel, oh, it's going to make me stop thinking, and that's really not true. So some of the major characteristics where you can identify where AI is the core function of a particular application, it's when it has the ability to improve over time through data processing. So it's improving. It's not just where you have a fixed data set, but it's learning and improving from the data that it's being fed in it. It has the capacity to analyze information and predict, make logical decisions. Oh, based on A, B, C, then it's likely that C is going to happen. And you find that commonly, especially if you're typing, even if you're using your WhatsApp, for instance, or you're typing an email, when it begins to suggest, based on your responses before or things you've typed before, it now brings words that you've already used, and it's predicting the next word you want to say or what you want to type or how you want to respond. Then it's using previous information to make logical decisions. And then it has skill in identifying issues and also finding solutions. So it has problem-solving skills, and it can interpret and sensory inputs like images, like sounds, and all that. So you have that computer vision, you have that large language processing, and all those kind of things. So language, it has, unlike before when you needed to get something from a system, you needed to program. You use the programmer's code, C#, whatever it is, and all that, for the system to give you an output. But with AI, it understands this natural language that we are speaking, the natural text, whether it's English or whatever it is, and it can read that natural text and interpret it and produce an output for you. So those are basically some of the core functions on AI, and it helps you to identify where AI is and what application uses AI and what application does not. You have some very advanced tech applications that are not AI, and it doesn't have AI in its core functions, but they are just programmed to perform some tasks. So before I go on, for those of us who initially had some misconceptions about AI, what were those misconceptions that you had about AI? What are the misconceptions that you know that a majority of maybe your colleagues and teachers have? So let me see some in the chat. Just drop it in the chat. What are those conceptions that people have about AI? That are misconceptions that maybe you've heard before from somewhere. So let's just take a minute to put those in the chat. Yeah, they say satanic. That's interesting. All right. Others believe that it will replace humans. AI will replace teachers. It reduces calculative power of the students. It will make us redundant. It can answer all questions. Exactly. It's going to replace all humans and all that. So definitely these are misconceptions. Students will no longer find teaching and learning sorry, there's a lot. It makes students feel lazy. AI is going to displace jobs in the future. It replaces human and reduce critical analysis. Exactly. So these are a lot of the misconceptions that people have about AI. But one thing we need to know is that AI is not self-aware. It lacks consciousness and it lacks emotions. I know that a lot of, especially in the Asian world, they're really working so hard to create robots that can smile, that can interpret facial facial expressions and all that. But whether you like it or not, there will still be that limitation. It's only what it's programmed to identify that it will identify. And so it cannot be fully aware as a person. And yes, AI will not replace all human jobs. Now, AI would replace jobs that were automated kind of jobs. Like maybe you have somebody who sits down and all he does for the whole day is computing things, AI may replace that kind of person. But with the new shifts in the world and the new jobs that this new technological disruption is causing, as it's replacing some jobs, it's creating others. Just before now, there are no people. You wouldn't say I'm a drone driver. There are some jobs you wouldn't know that exist, and it's happening even going forward, and especially in the science and technology field. So that is why, as we also need to be up and doing with AI. AI will not replace teachers. We've had that debate before. They said, "Oh, technology will replace teachers," and we know you are still in the classroom today. Technology hasn't replaced you. So technology will not replace teachers, but teachers who know how to effectively use technology will definitely remain in the classroom, and those who don't embrace the change will become obsolete. So that's just it. And AI can be biased. It can make errors. So AI is not a magic wand. It doesn't have all the answers, and some of the answers it gives are not correct. And AI, yes, does mimic human cognition, but still lacks full understanding. AI is not in your classroom. AI doesn't know that James came in looking sad today. AI doesn't know that Peter just is feeling ill. AI doesn't know that Biodu is missing from class because her parents couldn't pay the school fees and you had to call. So there are still some human things that you would be required to do even as a teacher in the classroom. And so AI cannot fully replace you. So what are some of these basic differences between traditional softwares, applications, and AI-based applications? Most of these traditional softwares that don't have AI as basic functions basically are pre-programmed. you have data. So for instance, you have a bank of words, and then I'm typing, and then my Word document is underlining my wrong spellings. That is not AI. Where AI comes into play is because the documents in the bank already has the words in their right spelling. And so when something is off, it's underlined and said, this is wrong. It's pre-programmed. But where it moves from being pre-programmed to AI-based software is like, even if you have Copilot in your Microsoft Word or whatever it is, it can help you rewrite your sentences. So it will read, understand what you're trying to say, and help you rewrite it in a better way. Then you have AI play. So it learns from the data and improves. So AI learns, AI adapts, AI creates. And so those are some basic features that differentiate traditional softwares from AI softwares. Now, for decision making, you can see that it follows a predefined rule. If A plus B is C, then A plus B should always come out as C. That is the pre-programmed. But sometimes with AI, it looks at, okay, what is the trend? What is the pattern? What is, and all that, what's the rate of use, and are able to make decisions based on what it is understanding, based on the patterns that it is reading, and decide that, oh, instead of it being C, I think we should stop at D. And so that's what AI can do. So it learns. And knowing this, we know that AI is actually transforming education globally. There is no gainsaying about that. And other global, globally, schools, even down to secondary schools and the rest, are already beginning to embrace AI in its use, although guided by principles and and rules of use and all that. But we cannot run away from it. And we also have a unique opportunity as a country to enhance our STEM education by embracing these AI technologies to bridge the educational gap between urban and rural. We'll talk about this later, and also prepare our students for an AI-driven future economy. So I personally have a problem where we want to run away from this AI thing. It has come to stay. It's disrupting almost every sector, and we are training students to enter into those fields. And so if we don't prepare them for an AI-driven future, then we are actually shortchanging them. So for us in STEM education, AI has a dual purpose. It can be a teaching tool, and it can also be a subject to learn. So AI can be a tool for us, it can also be a subject to learn. So how do we integrate AI in Nigerian secondary education system as a tool? So we can use AI for intelligent tutoring as systems, adaptive platforms. Adaptive platforms are basically like, okay, for instance, a maths application that is able to identify based on students' responses if the test is too simple, and then changes the difficulty level to match up to the students' cognitive ability, or if the AI senses that based on the responses, the test is too hard, and then brings up simpler questions to match up to the child's cognitive ability or mathematics skills. So here you see either adaptive platforms and automated grading, which a lot of teachers are also embracing, where it gives you the analytics of your students' performance and all that, who is first, who is where they struggle, the pain points and all that. And you are just good to go using the analytics. Virtual laboratories are showing up and the rest. And of course, nothing for me better than this personalized feedback system, because it's something that we do have a challenge with. Most times you don't even see how your students are doing until the terminal exams or the end of a summative exam and all that. But with this, it can help you give now personalized feedback. No matter how many students you have in your classroom, AI can help you give, do an analytics of the student's performance and say, oh, she did well in A, she struggled in B, she doesn't have a good understanding of C. And you can actually see that for each student. Most of those applications have that back end. And so that's AI as a teaching to enhance teaching and learning. But then our students can also learn about AI concepts and skills, algorithms, data, machine learning basics, coding, and all that. And we see that becoming more popular in our secondary schools these days, where we're exposing our students to coding, we're exposing them to programming, to robotic projects and all that. And so those are two ways that we can actually integrate. So AI integration is not about replacing teachers or the traditional learning. So let me put that out there. We are not saying that, oh, AI will replace traditional learning. No, but we are looking at how AI can augment them to create a much more richer STEM educational experience for our students in our classrooms. And so why do we need to integrate AI? Why should us as Nigerians, teachers, educators adopt AI, especially when we're in the STEM education? Basically, educational benefits, economic development. We cannot run away from the fact that STEM is one of the driving forces for economic growth of a nation. And in every field, I repeat again, AI is making things better and easier, even in the field of medicine, in the field of agric, and you could call whatever science field it is. You see that AI is being used there regularly. Can we stop writing on the slides? We are defacing the slides for others. And of course, global competitiveness. Now, how do we use AI to improve STEM learning? One way is personalized learning, where AI can identify students' needs and adapt this. So I will try to run through this slide so that at least I can do one sample of do a sample for us with one tool, one AI tool, and gamified apps, adaptive tools like I've explained, data-driven insights like I just talked about. So students learn best when education adapts to their needs. And with some of these AI tools, we can actually use them to adapt to our students' needs, especially in the science classroom. Then also it addresses the gap that we have, this issues of teacher shortage, this issue of resources and all that. And it can help us scale education to reach every Nigerian student. So you have the same access to the same app, you're able to prompt it to get the same information globally. So nobody's lacking in quality outputs. And where you have teacher shortages, you have AI tutors, you have learning platforms, that people are beginning to build for the education sector. And then you have the 24/7 learning support. AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't get overwhelmed. It patiently answers questions. You can ask it the same question over and over. Where a teacher will get tired, AI will not get tired. And when you learn to use AI as a teacher, you find out that it actually frees up your time so that you can pay more attention to your students and pay more attention to hands-on activities, instead of spending all the time trying to think about what to do, what activity to do, how to write it out, how to develop it, how to create it, and all that. You can easily create all those and spend more time engaging your students. And we need to stay globally relevant. If other countries are beginning even to build AI education initiatives globally, and so we can't fall behind in this. And really, the onus is on us educators, because if we embrace it from the ground level, even from the top level, we can see that Nigeria is also doing a lot to push AI education. They're developing policies and all that so that we can prepare them for the limited workforce that is out there, future jobs, and of course, competitiveness in global innovation. Now, when is the best time to integrate AI into the Nigerian STEM education? The best time is now. There's no better time than now. And we can actually do it in a using gradual strategic phased implementations. Like, for instance, maybe we are just coming to know about it, we are just exploring it. We can start with basic digital literacy programs, pilot AI projects and all that. And then you look at how we can introduce it formally into our curriculum as a module in our senior secondary schools, and then a nationwide adoption policy, aligned with national strategy and all that. So there is no better time to start looking at that than now. For us in the school level, we can sequentially begin to build up these skills in our students. Maybe, for instance, from junior secondary school, we focus on foundational basics, simple coding exercises, computer foundations. And then as we move on to the secondary school level, we may begin to introduce AI modules, deeper programming, data science fundamentals, robotics, things like that, that we get them ready for the workforce. And as we graduate into the higher education, the job market, a deeper AI literacy level and critical thinking skills for the economy. So we can actually begin to scale this in our schools and prepare them for that. So how do we integrate AI? Definitely, teacher training, classroom implementation, and policy and infrastructure supports. Because no technology can succeed in the classroom without teachers who understand it. And that is true. And so one of the reasons why we resist AI as educators at secondary school level, higher institution level, is because we don't understand it yet. If we have a good grasp and a good understanding of AI, we will not resist it. And if we don't focus on teacher training for AI integration, then we still will not achieve, or enhance, what's the word? We will not benefit from its, we will not make the best of what it affords for us, the benefits of its use and all that, because we don't understand it. So for successful AI integration in Nigerian STEM education, we cannot do it without the teachers. And so you see once again that you as teachers are very relevant in AI integration in the classroom. In the classroom, things like for adaptive, these are just examples. So it may be math practice, it may be science practice, but analyzing students' performance in real time and adjusting it according to their, Then you also have the virtual science labs, where, of course, students can conduct simulations. And I'm sure by the time you are through with the PhET simulation training, you'll be able to use any other virtual lab, and of course, maximize what PhET is offering also. And of course, the AI-based grading tools that are automated assessment tools that are out there to help teachers actually evaluate students' work more effectively than we would have done traditionally. We can also integrate AI into extracurriculum activities into our STEM schools. Now schools are opening STEM clubs, AI clubs, and all that. As educators in the STEM field, in the sciences and all that, we need to look at how we can, beyond what we do in the classroom, have that extracurricular activity where kids begin to have hands-on STEM experiences from even the primary level. It doesn't have to be in secondary level, because by the time you start early, you teach them explorative skills, you teach them inquiry skills, you teach them, scientific thinking and all that from various hands-on activities, even at the primary levels. You are demystifying science to them, and you are making science, you're encouraging them to continue to choose STEM fields and all that, and to be, you'd be amazed how a simple robotic club or coding club or a science fair in your school will do a lot to change the mindset of students. And so we know that we need AI in the classroom, AI in STEM, AI in education is key. Right now, we're discussing it, we're adopting it, we are using it, and there's no burying our head in the sand concerning it. And we know that there are common fears, things like, oh, parents are using AI for cheating. But if as an educator, you have not, like I said, understood AI, how can you identify a student who is using AI to cheat rather? Then how can you ensure that your students, whether you like it or not, they're going to use AI because it's already there and it's out there for them to use. But because you have a better understanding, you can guide them in better use. If they must use it, then use it for this, for that, and this is how you use it. And then you can set ground rules for how AI is used for what work. What tasks is it permissible? What tasks is it not permissible? Because you have an understanding. AI will not displace teachers, but teachers who know how to use tech and know how to use AI will outperform teachers who do not. And that's just the gospel truth about it. AI, yes, does generate inaccurate content. And that is why content mastery by you as an educator is also key, so that you can validate, whatever it is that AI has generated for you. AI does what we call hallucination. Sometimes instead of it to tell you that I don't know, it will just go and pick up something. For instance, like I said, AI is trained on data that's already been imputed. Let me use a common thing. Most of us know how to make stew. And we know that to make stew, we have pepper, tomato, oil, Maggi, and all that. Now you've told AI to make a particular stew. Nobody has imputed oil in the data that this particular AI model is going to use. And so instead of it coming back without bringing anything out, because it was created to learn and to produce and to create, AI may just look for any close oil and may see engine oil and decide to use engine oil as an alternative to make your stew. And you know that if you consume that kind of stew, you would have problems. It's the same thing. So AI may not find what it's looking for that you have prompted it, and may just go and bring something close to it or something that may even be far related to it, but maybe just has some similarity. And if you do not check it, you will be sharing information that is not correct with your students. And that's why we still need content mastery over whatever it is that we are having AI to produce for us. And yes, most of the data that AI is run on is Western biased because they are the ones who started it. So they've used data from themselves. Although right now we have Africans, Nigerians who are also training models, and you may have contents that are a bit more culturally nuanced as it is. But we need to develop clear AI usage policies for our schools. It's very key for teachers, for students and all that, and ensure that we have an alignment with that. We also need to teach digital citizenship along AI skills, because in those days, they will tell you that a picture does not lie. And once you have a picture evidence, is good enough. But now, pictures will lie, videos will lie, everything will tell lies. And so we have to help our students know how to use these things for good, using tech for good. Digital citizenship is key, even as we begin to use technology and especially AI. And AI as a tool is for augmenting, not for replacing teachers or replacing what you will do or your thinking abilities or your creativity with your classroom and all that. That is not what it's supposed to do. And you must ensure that you include ethics into the module. So when we're talking about AI ethics, we're talking about fairness. That means all students are treated equally, regardless of their background. We're talking about transparency, clear expectations of how AI will make its decisions, clear expectations of, or you're letting people know how you're using it, what you're using it for, and all that. And then privacy, don't put personal information in AI. Whatever you're feeding, most of these AI applications are being trained by the data also that you're imputing into them and can be pulled out from somewhere. And ensuring that AI systems reflect your Nigerian values and your cultural context. So if it generates anything that is out of context because of what it has been what it has been trained on, it's your own prerogative as a teacher to ensure that you re-edit, you modify to ensure it suits your context and values as Nigerians. You know that their values are different in Africa, in Nigeria, and across the globe. There are different values, and AI is trained by what it is has been fed into it. So we must understand that. And our students also should learn to be critical consumers of AI. They just don't use it and take up whatever it says. So our key takeaway in summary, one takeaway, AI in Nigerian STEM education, the what AI as a tool for teaching, AI as a subject of study, and of course the holistic integration approach across the STEM curriculum. And then when do we integrate AI? Now. And we can begin with basic foundational basics, and then see how we can just build a timeline. So based on the school, based on the district, based on the state, let there be a timeline that, okay, this is where we are at, this is where we want to get to, and this is how we want to get there, and put those timelines there. Because we know that it will improve our learning outcomes if it is effectively used. And of course, increase engagement, especially in the STEM classroom. And I will spend 2 more minutes on that. And of course, we've seen that it can help reduce educational gaps, increase our global competitiveness, and all that. And how do we integrate AI? Teacher training and capacity building, it's key. As a teacher, you must own your own capacity building. I celebrate everyone who is here this evening, taking your time out to learn one thing or the other as a science teacher to improve your teaching, going on the PhET Coursera course, doing your self-study and all that. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of self-regulation and determination as a teacher. I know some teachers who wouldn't even bother. They would ask, would they pay me? How much are they going to give me? And if there's nothing in it for them financially, they would not even bother. But you're taking your data and your time, and that shows that you are on the right road, on the right track. Classroom integration, extracurriculum activities, and of course, we need to also always put ethical concerns and cultural context in view when we use AI. And so our future starts now. So integrating AI into STEM education is not an option, no. It's a necessity for this digital future that we are in and we are heading to. And so innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. So AI is here as an opportunity, not a threat. So I urge you as educators to start with small AI integration in your classroom, join communities, AI communities in education. As a school administrator, look at training workshops, establish extracurriculum activities that will help build these skills in your teachers. And if you're a policymaker here, look at how you can allocate resources for AI education and then curriculum upgrade that includes that. So thank you for that. I will stop sharing this slide and just take 1 minute to share a page and just show how, as science educators, we can actually improve our science teaching with AI. Let me once again share from, okay. Let me stop sharing and then just open a share another tab. Because one of the things that I know that we struggle with, yes, in a minute. One of the things I know that we struggle with as educators most times is, where are you? Excuse me. Sorry, please, I'm trying to open up the, oh. So there are a lot of AI tools out there, quite a lot of AI tools out there. Okay. I think I have to do this. All right, so there are a lot of AI tools out there. And so basically, you could get lost and you could get confused and all that. But like any technology tool you're going to use, first and foremost, your content, the pedagogical strategy you want to use, and then that will determine what technology you'll be using. So just this evening, and quickly, I wouldn't take too much time because I know I've fast spent. I know that one of the things that we struggle at sometimes teaching science, because science can be quite a bit abstract, is how to break this thing down, how to make it relevant to our students, how to show the everyday relevance of some of the topics that we are doing, how to kind of do some pre-lab activities before we actually go into the lab, because we don't have any problem going to the lab and demonstrating these lab things. But what kind of everyday activity can prep the students to actually go into the lab and understand what they are doing in the lab? And then even after the lab experiment, how will they apply this in the everyday life? What's the everyday relevance of that? And sometimes we get challenged with that. Beyond the lab, even in our classrooms, sometimes we want to break it down for them. We want to make our classroom more engaging, more interesting, like some other humanity courses and all that. And as science teachers, sometimes we struggle with this. So, for instance, this is fortunately today, this week I've been on this training with teachers for a particular school, all the way from nursery through the primary and secondary. And so we've been looking at how to use AI to engage our students more, to improve engagement, students' engagement in the classroom and all that. And so there are quite a lot of tools that we've shared, but I just will take one for today's sake. And so, for instance, this is eduaid.ai, and it's a free AI application for teachers. Now, so I have my, and so this is, for instance, one sample I did with the class just earlier on today, and they wanted to teach plants, and they're a Cambridge curriculum aligned school, and for grade 3 students, I think that was a primary school level, but you could always change the grade. But that's not the, so like with any AI, when you are prompting, ensure that you are giving it all the information it needs to generate exactly what you want. But now, EduAI builds lessons, organizers, and even games that you can use to actually teach any particular topic. And if you see, it's not limited. You have grade 5s, you have post-secondary and everything. It can always create content for whatever level. I'm not, for time's sake. And so for the lesson builder, Now you could see here, you need to create quick engagement activities plus thought-provoking discussions that can help, you know, your class be engaging. You don't want to be that boring teacher. You want to increase the active participation of your students so that they're not spending all the time just putting their heads on their hands and listening to you. But you're lost for what to do. You have that. You want to identify their prior knowledge. How do you go about checking for prior knowledge or scaffolding and all that? It could help you generate that. What kind of assessment measures would you use to ensure that your students understand the concepts that have just been taught? How do you differentiate? Because this is what most times is challenging for most teachers, how you can differentiate instruction for the different types of students that you have in your classroom. And so with Edu AI, if I want differentiated instruction, for instance, I would highlight that while I put in my prompts here in the prompt window here and ask it to generate. So when we did that, like I said, we did that for the topic plans. And so this was what it came out for, differentiated instruction plans for third graders. So you have your lesson planning, your lesson, whatever it is. It's not like creating a lesson plan for you and all that, but it's giving you options. It's helping you to take that topic and help suggest differentiation strategies that you can use to teach that topic. So for instance, you can see for the learning objectives, it is you have it here for beginning learners, intermediate learners, advanced learners. You have differentiation strategies, like you want content differentiation. What will you teach? What will you use for beginners? What will you use for the intermediate, for the advanced? And these are still for the third grades, because whether you like it or not, your students are not homogeneous in their abilities, in their characteristics and all that. And the ability to not leave some frustrated, either because you are giving them too simple of a task, or because the same task that you think fits all of them, some of them will find it so easy and they are done and they're like, oh, it's boring because I have to wait for others. And even that you think that is general for all, some of them will find it difficult and they may get frustrated and just give up with science. And so it's too hard. I can't catch up. I can't follow up. And because of that, they stop making efforts, you know, and they just fall through your class or sometimes just change to another whole class. And that's because we're not able to differentiate for the lessons that we actually give. So you could see process differentiation, product differentiation. Should they write an essay? Should they create a video? Do they do a presentation? Is it an art project that will be the outputs that you want as a submission for their assessments and all that? Learning environment, grouping strategy, material resources, assessment, differentiated assessment methods. So if you want that as a different, so having done that, when we did that, it created that lesson, differentiated lesson strategies for us. Then now the teacher says, okay, now I know this, but I want my class to be more engaging. What ideas? We went back up here and clicked on engagement and still said generate, and it generated engagement activities to teach plants to third grade students. So what kind of engagement activities can we do in the classroom to make it more exciting, to make learning more fun, and you know, and keep that learning of science, you know, fun for them? It suggested things like a plant parade, seed guessing game, plant pass scavenger, or things that you can do within the classroom. And so we also went on to say, okay, we want to, what kind of assessment measures? And so you click on assessment measures here and ask it to generate, still for the same kind of, for the same topic. And you generate different kind of assessment measures that you could use to gauge their understanding of maybe the topic of plant. So plant growth observation journal, plant classification project, you know, plant life cycle model, all still under the topic of plants. And now we said, okay, we want to make it fun. Where is that? We decided to create a game. Yeah, so you have games here rather. So you can pick games. And we said we wanted, I think it was 4 corner games that we did. And it gave us how to use a 4 corner game to have students engaged even in the learning of plants, you know, putting them in category, asking questions. If they get the right answer by going to the corner where it's a type of plant or is a plant growth need, you ask the question and all that. So you don't have any reason for making your science class very boring. You don't have any reason for not actually improving on the kind of delivery that we do when we come. You can make science as easy, as less abstract as possible, and AI is also there to help us. So like I said, there are so many other AI applications, but I just thought at least to show one. And if you have a lesson plan already, you can add your document here and ask it to do these things based on the lesson plan, strictly based on the lesson plans that you have, the document that you have added, and it will help you generate what you want. So thank you for your time. I don't want to take too much time again. So I'll just stop sharing there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oluwakemi. Let us see the round of applause. Okay, let us see it coming in. I hope we've learned at least. She has given us one expo of an AI to use. So quickly, we are all going to make sure we use it. Okay, so please, if you have any questions now for Dr. Oluwakemi, you can either drop in the chat box, or if, let me see how many raised hands we can take. And before we go forward, if you have a question, for Dr. Oluwakemi, please. Any question, or do we move forward? Oh, I see everyone is still, oh, okay. Innocent, you can unmute and ask your question. Mr. Innocent, you can unmute and ask your question.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor, for that expose, especially on that Edu8. My question actually is on Edu8. Now, if you want to use it for a class, can the students also, for example, you have a class and you want to register your students into the Edu8. Is it possible for you to do so? And the Edu8, is it also free to use? That's my question. Hello, I hope you heard me.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
I heard you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm using, you have to, I'm going to type it out. You have to unmute my other device. You have to unmute me here.
Yes, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. All right, it's unmuted. Thank you. I was using another device for the audio because I have a problem. So I saw a question before it went away. You don't need to learn how to code to use AI. You don't need to learn how to code to use AI. As a matter of fact, AI can code on your behalf, even if you need to do something that requires coding. So I saw that question by a teacher. You don't need to learn how to code. And for the Edu8 AI, so just permit me again to share briefly to also answer that question. Now so like I said, there are very different tools out there, and like a worker who has a toolbox and has different tools for different things. This basically is to aid you as a teacher to create your lesson plannings. And so when you're done, these are things that you could export. You could download, export as PDF, or save on your Google Drive or whatever it is and use. So it's not cancel. I was just showing. So it's not one of those tools that you can include and bring your students in. But because you asked, there is this other one here, which is QueryPod. With this one, you could actually bring in your students. So you'd have a code or a PIN or a QR code that your students can log in with to access your content. And while using it in class, for this one, the difference with this one is that it can generate your lesson, but the beauty about it is that it brings formative assessments in between each of your lessons. It creates the slides, put in the formative activities. So while you are teaching your content, interceptively like that, it will bring in activities for your students to do. So it keeps them on task. And at the end of it, you can see if it's a school where you have internet devices and you can connect, your students can use their laptops or whatever as a student response system. So basically, they can't do anything. You can actually even from this freeze their
question papers, first, second, third.
Freeze their systems, and so they will not be able to do anything but pay attention only when the activity has been enabled. And at the end, you could actually even see the reports of your class, that activity. So this is one that you can invite your students to participate in, and you can have that summary of their reports, their engagement, and how many of them participated and how many did not participate. So this is one that answers to that question. But the the other one basically is to help you improve in your instructional designing, rather, and how you want to deliver and what you want to do within the class and all that. So those are, like I said, different tools for different purposes. And so there are many free to use applications, especially if you sign up as a teacher. A lot of these applications give teacher free access. It may be limited access until you upgrade to Grow, but at least even the limited access, you still have quite a lot that you can do with them. So a lot of these educational tools. So I would personally recommend that as teachers, we look for the ones that we are designed for education. I know ChatGPT can do almost everything, but it's a generic tool for different things. But those ones that are designed for the education purposes normally have an understanding of how the classroom runs, an understanding of what the teacher does, and so they are made for that purpose. Yes, Corey is free for teachers again. So you sign up as a teacher. You have the option to sign up as a teacher. It's free for teachers. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Now, somebody said, what can we do to ensure that assignments or homework are done by the students from their brains and not just by AI? What is the purpose of teaching? What is the purpose of instruction? What is the purpose of what you're doing in the classroom? It's to learn. So personally, this is me talking, and it's my own opinion and might not be a popular opinion. If the kids are going to use AI to learn, let them use AI to learn. What I want to ensure as a teacher is that they have learned that content. And so what do I do? And so for my students, when they now come to defend without technology what they have learned, so they are forced to ensure that even though they are using technology to assess, generate the information and all that, they are sitting with it to understand it, because they will come. And that's where flipping what we call the flip classroom comes into to play here, especially because, oh, go do the content, go learn the content, go explore whatever it is, and let's come and do the homework here in the classroom. So that you will have sent to them as homework, bring it to the classroom, let them do it without the aid of the AI or the aid of the technology or the sites. Then you can really assess if they are learning, if they really understood what the AI did for them. And when your students know that you would constantly assess them in that manner, even if they use AI for that. So they're not just dropping paper, they're not just dropping assignment. We need to change how we assess. We need to change our questioning styles and all that. Once they know they are saying what is, giving very straightforward assignments, they'll just go to AI and do it. But where they have to apply critical thinking, or where they have to come and present, where they have to come and demonstrate, where they have to come and showcase synthesis of information that they have gathered, then they'll be forced to put their learning, they'll be forced to engage with the learning and not lose out from the learning points of that activity. They will bring your assignments into the classroom while they go to do the content learning outside the classroom. And that's basically my opinion about that question. So thank you very much. Does this not create laziness in the acts of students? Maybe I'll just take that question as the final question, because I'm sure there are so many other things that we want to do. I've had this question come to me over and over when we talk about the use of AI. It can create laziness in students if you permit it to create laziness in students, because I just answered that. But another thing I want us to know is that these students that we are afraid that it will create laziness for them, these are the things that they would leave your classrooms for and go into the workspaces, and they would be required to use them in the workspaces, because across different work sectors, they expect that you'll increase your productivity with the use of AI. It's only in the education sector that we are still fighting it, because they will graduate from your classrooms and go to get jobs, and their bosses there will require, how would you write like this? You could have used AI to check it to be sure that your grammar is correct or the context is in place. They expect that, so they have less whatever for errors or whatever, because then you have better tools now to work with. And so if we begin to discourage, that's why as teachers we need to be on top of it, understand it, so that we can help guide our students in ethical use of these AI tools. What can you use AI for? What can you not use AI for? Where my class is concerned, where my course is concerned. But to say don't use AI at all, we are fighting a battle that we cannot win. And then it doesn't make them lazy. It also makes us up our game. And for instance, you cannot go into I had one on-site training with some elderly senior colleagues of ours, and this was brought up. And I asked them, I said, if you go into an office right now and you meet a secretary who is typing with a computer using Microsoft Word Copilot AI, will you say the secretary is lazy? Because in your time when you were growing up, they were using computers, they were using TPEX, they were using all that. Will you want to judge the competence of that secretary based on the secretaries of your time? And the answer is no. So why do we want to judge the students that we have in our classrooms, not based on the context of where they are growing up, but based on our own experiences growing up in our own time? We are also not doing them we are doing them a disservice. So you must understand the characteristics. Learner characteristics is something that they tell us to understand when we are doing instructional designing. And it hasn't changed. And their characteristics change across the years, across the time, across generations. And we must always bear that in mind when we think about them and what we bring to them in the classroom. So thank you for the time. I don't want to take much more than this, because I'm sure that there are other things that has been planned up for today's engagement.
Give me to take. Yeah.
Okay, there's one question. Some of us are teaching in government schools and have no computer or networks. How do we use AI in this situation? Should we just give up on using AI to teach in such schools? We are not talking about using AI to teach. At this point, you are using AI to improve your own teaching. Now, if you look at what we did in Edu AI, it was just telling you what you can do to engage your students in the classroom. So it's not saying bring technology to classroom, it's saying revamp how you deliver your lesson. So as a teacher, even in a school without any form of device, any electricity, any infrastructure, as long as you have a phone that is a smartphone, even if you will not use any other tool, even if you use the Meta AI in your WhatsApp to say, oh, I want to teach this concept. How can I simplify this concept? Break it down and make it as simple as teaching a 5-year-old motion. You'll be surprised how what it will tell you to do. And you bring that kind of activity into your classroom and you're helping your students. So it's not really about technology. It's about how you can empower yourself as a teacher to improve your lesson delivery and ensure better learning outcomes for your students. That is the goal of using these tools. Thank you very much. I don't want to go on further.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kemi. And let me quickly add something. Okay, when you spoke of students are going to be lazy, is it not going to make them redundant? And you spoke of something that we have to change the way we assess students. So with AI now, it's also going to make us, we also have to improve. We have to look for ways to make sure these students are critically thinking. And that's where PhET comes in. That's where inquiry-based learning comes in. You see, this training, I know we've gone through in intro, the first step of, Coursera. Now that we are going into, please, who is loading the whiteboard? Please, do not. Please, can you kill that, Mr. Temitope? You're the one loading your whiteboard. Can you kill that, please? Please stop that. Prof, if you can help me kill that. Please do help me. Okay, thank you. So please, can we stop playing around with the tools of Zoom? Let's stop playing around. Let's stop writing on the screen. Don't worry, you can always, Zoom is free, 40 minutes, you can download it, and, learn about it yourself. You can connect with a friend and scribble and learn about the whole tool of Zoom, not on a meeting, please. So, as I was saying, so it now boils down to us learning on this inquiry-based learning skills. Okay, because I know that, you know, we've been running this program for like how many years now? 3 to 4 years. When it comes to the course on whole class strategy in activity sheet design, oh my God, teacher starts dropping off, because now you as a teacher, you have to sit down and draft a question that a student, before that student answers, you know that you are bringing out something. You have to, it's a question, it's what we call challenge prompts. Don't worry, you're going to see it on Coursera. You have to really sit down to draft out challenge prompt questions. It is not close-ended, it's open-ended, to make sure you get the student to open up to what he really understands. So it's also, AI has come to make us sit up. I think that's it. We have to change the way we assess. We have to change the way we ask students questions. It's no longer what is this, and they will just come. They will, all those your questions, they will type it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give them answer. They will type, copy, paste, and print out and come and give to us, or they will write in their notes and come to give to us. But now we as teachers, there must be a step forward, like presenting what Dr. Kemi said, that she always makes sure her students present. And when a student presents, they say, you know, it means that they have really covered the material. So thank you so much, Dr. Kemi. Another round of applause. She really touched and, you know, and shared a lot. And she will be sharing more tools as we go on. Next week, she's also going to take another session on, you know, going deep down into pedagogy in STEM using AI. So another wonderful session coming from her next week. By God's grace, next week, another session coming from her. Okay, she's smiling because I thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. So quickly, quickly. Let's go to the next activity for today, and we're going to be looking at active learning with PhET. I will be taking this quickly. If you can see my screen, please let me know. Prof, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So active learning with PhET. All right. And what is active learning? It's just focused on the actions students take to achieve the desired learning objectives. We all have from our lesson notes, the first thing is the learning objectives. So what are the steps? What are the actions, all right, your students will take to achieve your learning objective is what we call active learning. And last week, I'm not going to, you know, shed more light on this particular image down here, right here, as Prof took us through this image and showing us how PhET interactive simulation pedagogy brings us to a middle ground where it is teacher control and student control. It brings us to that middle ground here. That's what PhET helps us to achieve, okay, using PhET in our classrooms. All right, and some of the characteristics of active learning that we as teachers and educators should take notes of take into account is we need to understand and address students' prior knowledge. So before a class, before you start a new topic in that class, you have to address their prior knowledge. That's why, don't worry, when we go into activity sheet design, you would see a section that deals on prior knowledge. You need to ask questions. Let's say we want to start teaching, for example, you want to start teaching quadratic graphs in maths, for example. You have to first understand, you have to first know if the students even understand quadratic equations, how to find expressions in maths. You have to test their prior knowledge, their basic algebra understanding, okay, before you now go into quadratic graphing, all right? And another thing we should also take into account is what we have to know, connecting the content of a lesson to daily experiences. We have to look for ways to connect it. You're teaching physics, you're teaching resistors in parallel, in series. How can you connect this to real world scenario? All right, for STEM teaching, it's always good we connect things to real world scenario. For chemistry, always good we connect, acid, base, and salt, when it comes to detergent, you connect it. For physics in resistors in parallel and series, you can quickly connect it to a real world experience, like how is the connection, the wiring of your house done? And with PhET simulation, okay, I think Prof would play around with some sim for us very, very soon. With PhET simulation, you can quickly connect it for them. Like, okay, we connect some bulbs in series, connect some bulbs in parallel, and they see that, oh, the voltage here is the same throughout. The voltage here is different. When we are adding several bulbs in a series circuit, we see that the voltage of the bulbs becomes dimmer, but in a parallel circuit, it's the same. They are all bright. The same voltage runs across it. So always look for ways to connect whatever you're teaching, especially fundamental topics in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Connect it to real world scenarios, and also try to make sure your active learning environment supports collaboration between the students. Okay, it's high time that we stop having a culture of, if there's any noise in the class, it is noise makers. Okay, there should be collaboration, and that particular little noise filter here and here should be students talking with each other. Oh, do you understand this? It's not copying. It's not depending on another person for all the own knowledge. It's students wanting to learn with another person. Okay, so we should stop hindering collaboration in our classes. Okay, that's why you see mostly in Nigeria, everybody wants to do it by themselves, because we have put them in a situation where do everything by yourself in classroom. You are in class, your classwork, do it by yourself. Examination, yes, that's the most do it. But everything from classroom work to simple things that are not even graded, we say, do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself. And that mentality takes, it's the university days, everyone, do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself. And it doesn't support that, will I say, the spirit of collaboration, because collaboration can make you go further when collaborating with the right peers. Okay, and we should also take account, okay, to create a safe environment for our students. Safe environment in the sense that you don't talk down on the students because of their ideas. Are you with me? Let them display, that's what we call the foolish intelligence. Allow them display it. Let them speak on. Okay, so create a safe environment not to talk down on the intelligence of each child, even if it sounds foolish, but there's still a little bit of intelligence. So create a safe environment for your students. It promotes active learning. Now, we also have to provide appropriate scaffolding. We don't just drop tools in their hands and just want them to just take over. No, we are there to provide appropriate scaffolding, especially when using PhET. PhET is a tool, it's a digital tool. So we definitely have to provide good scaffolding. It's just like you want scaffolding, you want to paint your house, you want to plaster the house. A worker cannot just go and start plastering at the second floor. You have to create a scaffold to get there. So that is what we should do in our classes. And we make assessment a part of the learning process, which is very critical. All right, assessment is critical. Okay, and Dr. Oluwakemi has also emphasized assessment. It could be discussion, it could be interaction. All right, and this will make the class engaging, and you have active learners in your class. And we have to establish certain practices, expectation as a response to a specific behavior. For example, one particular practice that you use when you want to really make your class active. When you see that the class is getting maybe a bit noisy, yes, students you pair them in groups of 5 to take on a PhET activity sheet, and the noise is becoming much. Before you start the class, you inform your students, when you hear me as a teacher, clap 1, 2. It means keep quiet, reduce the noise. So when you establish all those practices and all those culture in your classroom, you know, when you do 1, 2, a student gets it, he reduces noise, he informs others, you clap again, 1, 2, and you see there is now a full decorum. Okay, so establish certain practices, okay, and expectations as a response to specific behaviors during your class, okay, because you're trying to promote active learning in your classroom. So, 1 minute. All right. So let us look at some active learning with PhET scenarios. Okay, students can use PhET Sim in the following cases for guided inquiry activities using WORHSHOP. Oh, hold on. I don't know why my screen is. Let me take off this bar so I can see. Oh, so I can see my. 1 minute, please. Okay, it's not going. Going forward. Give me a minute, please, everyone. Okay. Oh, Mr. Samuel, please stop annotating. Ejo, Mr. Samuel, please. Let me speak. Okay. I'm looking for a way to get rid of this bar on my screen. Not working? Problem? All right. Mr. Akintolu, please, let's stop annotating on the screen, okay? Thank you. So students can use PhET Sims in the following setup. Okay, 1 for guided inquiry activities using worksheets. You can also use PhET for students for homework assignments. Okay, and you can combine digital and physical laboratory activity. You can make them, first of all, do work on the sim, all right, first, before then taking them to the physical lab. Okay, and you can have also guided inquiry activities in remote learning. Send them send the activity sheet as homework, give them the link to the PhET simulation, and they go through this. So these are scenarios where you can use PhET with your students. Now, active learning with PhET, to make the best use of PhET simulation and maximize learning outcomes for your student, it's important to not only consider the PhET sim you will use, but how you engage in activity design. Okay, that's plans you have for your students, and also teacher facilitation, the way you are going to carry it out. You have to write all these things down. Okay, so an active learning with PhET is like you coming to the class, preparing your activity sheet that they will go through, and you have some particular learning goals that you want them to achieve. So apart from selecting your PhET sim and what you want them to click, this and that is where the design is. You also have to write out how you are going to facilitate it step by step. Let's say 5 minutes, I will start with open play. You have to write all those things down. You have to, it's like a lesson plan also. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So using PhET, you have to also have a lesson plan for using PhET. You don't just say, I have this sim, let me go and use this sim. No, you have to sit down, because even the sim is there are so many futures that can teach so many things. So you have to know the future that would make you achieve your own learning goal, the learning objectives that you have for your class. You have to also sit down and think, okay, so this is where I want my students to go. Because if you don't do that, the students you would go off the topic, off your learning goal. So, but you have to really sit down to plan it out. All right. And all right. So to maximize the benefit of using PhET simulation in classroom, activity sheets needs to be designed with specific goals in mind. Each activity should be student-centered, providing opportunities for students to engage in inquiry, discuss their thoughts, share ideas, and with the sim as the central tool of learning, as the central learning tool. So I'm going to take you through. So it serves as a place to record your thoughts. So on an activity sheet, the students record their thoughts, their observations, okay, to facilitate sense-making, post-challenging prompts that engage the students by promoting interactions with the simulation and also give guidance towards the learning goal. So it gives guidance towards the learning goal. So every challenge prompt you ask, you are going to a learning goal. You are taking them to that place that you want them to learn, to get a particular goal that you have set in mind for them. So how does the activity sheet look like? It looks like something like this on our right-hand side. All right, you see build a molecule. You have to first write your learning goal. What learning goals? What are your learning objectives? That is very important for you to write down. Don't worry, when you start the second course, whole class inquiry, you're going to see all this. And the third course, which is what? Activity design, you also see all this. So, so here, the first thing you should know in your design guidelines is what? You have to prevent your activity sheet from competing with the SIM, okay, for students' attention. So what does this mean? Just make sure that you don't, your activity sheet is not too worded. You just emphasize on a particular features of the simulation. You must have been playing with a lot of simulation from your first course, and you will notice that in a simulation, there are several features that can achieve several things. So it is not all features that you will touch. There are just specific ones that you will touch. So that is what you should focus on. And your activity sheet should not be so lengthy. It should just be a page, maximum 2 pages, short, straight to the point. Your challenge prompt questions, don't worry, you will be taken through how to ask and generate challenge prompt questions on the Coursera course. Okay, I'm just rushing this. But one thing that is important, which is the third particular guideline, is open play. You should give about 5 minutes for students to play around with the sim without your involvement. So play around with them. Then you can now start edging them towards the future, the futures you want them to focus on. You can now start saying, oh, have you noticed what this particular future does? Then some students say, oh, yes, ma, I noticed you can do this. Some will say, oh, yes, ma, future, I noticed. You get my, so you have to give them 5 minutes of open play. A normal PhET at a lesson plan activity class usually is about 45 minutes, your normal lesson period, okay? But it's so here you design it to be more of inquiry based and active word learning. So number 4, one of the guideline is what? Minimal wording. It should be short written challenge prompt. You don't need to, that's why you have to really sit and really think. It can't be close-ended. We avoid, we always tell teachers, stop, don't know yes or no question, true or false question. It should be open-ended. You should learn how to ask open-ended questions that will sift out the particular information you want to draw out from your students. And the 15th guideline is you should have what scaffolds, use tables effectively, to and it will help you structure your words, structure your particular prompts. For example, here you can see here in this particular picture, it's the second tab. It says make many, fill all collection boxes, and then complete the questions. Draw it. What does 3 in 30 that's O2 mean? Okay, so when you scaffold things like this, it makes it easy, okay, for them to follow through instructions. Just scaffold with table. We always encourage tables when you're using inquiry-based learning. Scaffold with table. It's going to make the learning easier for your students. So these are some design guidelines, and you'll be seeing more. And before you start designing an activity sheet, before you select a topic to start with, one question we always get is, from teachers. So after I've created my own lesson plan, now I will be creating PhET lesson plan. Can I create PhET lesson plan for all my subjects? No, because we know that you are teachers, you have a lot to cover in here. By the time we resume September, everyone starts prepping their students for exams next year, for WAEC, for junior WAEC, for common entrance. So you are always busy. So you have to before you say, okay, let me prepare this sheet for this topic, you know the topic that, what will I say, that they are groundbreaking, that you know your students always don't get. All those topics, we advise teachers to use a PhET Sim to help students get it deeper. We know those topics. For maths, graph is one topic. For physics, electricity, parallel series is one particular major topic that students don't understand. For chemistry, periodic table, students don't understand it. Okay, so there are some particular specific topics that you can say, okay, I will sit down and design this PhET activity sheet for my students to use, and I will do this maybe in a month. I will do 2 PhET activities. Use my period before I teach, before I introduce this fully or start giving my students notes on this topic. I want them to use a PhET Sim to try to draw, instead of me just giving abstract notes. Let them interact with a sim that is close to, that is close to reality, so they understand the concept before I now start giving notes. So you need to sit down and select those topics. You know those topics in your subject that students find difficult to understand. So you have to, ask yourself all those questions. How is this lesson going to fit in? Will you replace the lesson? Will it be supplemental? Think about where in the topic sequence it will fit in. Will it introduce a topic you know most students have difficulty in, what I just spoke? Will you use the PhET simulation to reinforce a topic, address common students' misunderstanding or misconception? So you really have to sit down to know where you want a PhET simulation to come in. Okay, so this is quite critical. All right, so instead of going through our breakout session, okay, because of time, I'll call on Prof. Prof is going to take us through a physics PhET simulation, the way the activity sheet is like, for about 10 minutes. Then Miss Joy is going to take us through a chemistry activity sheet, how it feels, how it looks like, how you take your students through an activity. Okay, so I'll call on Prof. Are you here? You're muted, Prof, in case you're speaking.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you.
I'll stop sharing and you would quickly run us through a physics activity sheet. Thank you so much. You can go on.
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing, for that wonderful presentation. And thanks to Dr. Oluwakemi for that wonderful presentation as well. I want to sincerely believe that each and every one of us as participants, we are greatly motivated and we are encouraged to explore. Yes, our time is far gone, so I may not be able to do much, but I will just quickly share my screen with us. I believe we can still do a little within the short time available. Oh, just a minute. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we can, sir. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. You can see the screen I projected, right?
Yes, you're on the PhET website.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. That's great. Basically, I want to take us through one of the activity sheets that I prepared in the past, and it has been uploaded. It's searchable on the PhET website, so we can actually access it and explore it and see what we've been able to achieve with that particular PhET, that particular activity sheet. Now, how familiar with the website, I believe, phet.colorado.edu. I'll draw attention very quickly to something I believe is very, very important, and that is the PhET offline version. I saw in the chat that some of us are complaining or talking about school where you don't have an internet or computer. How do you survive? Oftentimes, you can actually print out your activity sheets and have it circulated. So it doesn't have to mean that all students must have access to computer. Okay, so you can still design your activity sheet, print out, and share with the student, maybe in group, depending on your learning objective or the outcome you're expecting from your lesson. Okay, down this page, down the page of PhET Interactive Simulation, you have the link where you can download the offline version of the PhET Sim. So you have a number of PhET Sim that have been packaged that you can actually download and use offline. Okay, so the link is down the page. But before you can have access to some of these, you must have, as a matter of necessity, register and log in as a user on PhET website. And the link to login is at the right hand side of the top part of the page. Okay, now, and you have a place where you can actually search through this website. I think I should just maximize this. Okay, so I just want to search by my name. Okay, because I've uploaded in the past and that activity is actually assigned to my name. You can as well search for any other topic of interest and you will see whatever has been submitted as far as PhET website is concerned. So I'm going to type Ola Yinka and do my search. And I think the activity should come up. So this is internet issue now. It's coming up, resistance in a wire. Okay. So there are about two there. I'm clicking the first one. So clicking on this, it will be open. Response is not too fine. Okay. The internet is not too friendly. Okay. So maybe I should use the auxiliary pages I've opened before. Okay. So you have it here. So scrolling down this page, so we can see the resistance in the wire activity sheet that is prepared, the lesson plan as the case may be. Okay, we have a portion where we talk about the prerequisites. First of all, we design the target student. This was actually designed for undergraduate students and consider their age group to be between 14 and 30. Of course, now in higher institution, I'm not sure in any 100 level now, we won't have any students probably less than 16 years of age. But before now, we used to have that. Okay, then have the prerequisites. That's the overview of the lesson we have in mind. And going on, we have the learning goals or the objective or the outcome you're actually expecting from that lesson. And I would like to digress a little bit. I saw so many posts when Dr. Kemi was presenting about AI, that it can cause laziness and so many other sentiments that we have registered about it. I want us to know that the essence of teaching and learning is actually to pass knowledge across. It's not just about examination. In this part of the world, we often look at examination as a punitive measure to get at students. I want those of us who are 21st century teacher and enlightened educated to actually have a different orientation. Examination is just to assess the level of understanding of students as to the concept or the objective or the goal of a course or the lesson you are passing across to the students. Now, what do I mean by that? For every course, maybe in the university settings, there is always a learning objective or the outcome that is expected. Irrespective of how you are able to achieve it, if that objective is achieved in the learner, the course has been done and dusted and it has been done well. Okay, so let's not just focus on the examination as just the ultimate, because that is actually the focus that is distracting us from actually employing and adopting some of these technology and innovation that can actually enhance the learning and then some of the innovation that we can bring to our job as teachers. Okay, now going forward, we have the material that will be required. So we talk about electronic devices. It could be computer, cell phone, or tablets. Then we have the PhET simulation, and the link is there. And we have a pre-lab activity sheet. There's a link that provides that. And we have the activity sheets, okay? So that is also there. And then flipping through the pages, that is the pre-lab. And then we have questions that are asked, okay? For instance, Blessing was talking about there is need to start from somewhere by giving the students an open-ended opportunity to explore their thoughts, okay? This is actually like if you are provided with a battery, a bulb, and some wire, what can you make of it? This look like an open system, an open question. What can you do with them, okay? From the previous knowledge of basic electricity, what relationship exists between electric current and the voltage, okay? Trying to drive home maybe a simple Ohm's law. Instead, the law that explains the relationship between the electrical current and voltage. These are not also direct, but just trying to create a form of inquisitiveness within the students. Then we have a direct question down. Say, what is resistivity? Okay. From there, we moved on to look at what teacher. That is open play now. It's an open play, the next session, and we also put the time for each of this activity. Now, for this one, we look at the open play and what the teachers are expected to do and what should be the response of the student. For instance, on the teacher side, we have students are assigned to groups of 3. I'm conscious of time. I won't be able to go through all of this because I know somebody will still need to speak briefly before we close for today. And so we can go through all of this on and on and on and on up to the last page, okay? Then you have the link. Students are allowed to work on concept question for possible improvement, and the link is there. And the science activity is also available. The link is also somewhere within that document. And like I also shared with us, maybe my last week during my presentation, there is actually a Google form I've used to actually implement this with undergraduate students. So I will also share that on the chat or maybe also on our WhatsApp group for those of us who might want to explore. Just that this particular form was designed exclusively for my students. So if you have to use it, you might need to make some assumption in the course of you trying to use it and going through for you to actually look at what is done there to explore. So you have about 4 pages. You need to accept your email, and thereafter going to the next page, you also need to fill some information like your name and the details. And on the 3rd page, you have access to the same activity that you can actually explore, answer some question and interact with it and have a feel of what it looks like. So I think it's better I stop here. We have just 7 minutes before the hour of 7 so that the next speaker can also speak briefly before we close for today. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Professor. He's going to share the copy of the lesson plan with the activity. So you would go through the activity. So the hands-on here is for you to go through the activity. He's going to drop. Prof, can you quickly drop it in the group so they all see it? You will just drop
I'm doing that.
the Word document. So they go through the activity, and in going through the activity, you always have to have the sim at your hand, okay, in place, because a PhET activity means that your student has access to a tablet or a phone. I've gone to schools where to implement, teach teachers how to implement this in their classrooms with students, okay? And, the complaint is, oh, what if there's no computer in the school? What if this? So I myself, I volunteer, I bring my laptops. I bring a laptop, bring another spare laptop. I make sure it's charged, because when you're going into school, you have to look for Africa. The thing is, issue of, apart from the issue of, there are no devices, there's also issue of electricity, okay? And there's also issue of internet problems. So all you need to do as a teacher to prepare, you're going to see some of these things, to prepare for your, to carry out a PhET activity, a lesson plan in your class. Just make sure you download the sim before that day, offline. The sim works offline. Download it in the devices. All right. If you don't have some more devices, you can ask for some of your colleagues their phones. So what I did that day was to use some of the phones of the teachers. Okay, they volunteered their phones, and the students used the phones to work on the simulation. It works perfectly on the phone when you are from the browser. When you use it from the browser on a phone, Google Chrome, it works seamlessly. So and you can have 3 to a device, and each person would have an activity sheet. So you print out that activity sheet, the document, okay? And if, let's say you have a very good school that has, you know, internet and has, you know, how am I going to put it? It's paperless. You can use a Google form, just like the way Prof did. You can put all the details in a Google form, and the students will what? You know, put in their you know, their observations after following the questions you have put in the Google form. Okay, so if you can't, maybe your school there's no electricity, there's nothing, you can do it as a take-home assignment. Create your Google form, tell them the same. When they get home, they can use their mommy or daddy's devices and go through all this. Or you can even print out and give them a sheet and tell them, okay, go to the link, all right, and go to the sim and, you know, go through all these questions. All right, so thank you. And we're gonna go through, we have here Miss Joy. Miss Joy is with us today, and Miss Joy is a seasoned chemistry teacher. All right, she has gone through also, she's a certified, she has gone through this course last year. So she's a certified PhET user, a PhET teacher. She has been using PhET for her online teaching, classroom teaching, and she's a chemistry expert, does checkpoint, IGCS, prepare students for WAEC, JAM, A-level. She's also an assistant examiner for CAIE, okay, and she is a seasoned chemistry online tutor. So Miss Joy Chidima, I would give you the floor now. You can share your screen and quickly take them through a chemistry activity sheet, a typical chemistry activity sheet, how you went through it with your students, with your learners. Please, if you can make this like 5 minutes, okay, would appreciate. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Blesson. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Good evening, Prof. Good evening, all. My name is Joy Chidima, as she said earlier. I actually did this training 2 years ago, Miss Blesson, and
I apologize.
Miss Blesson has been...
I apologize.
No problem. Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I was told to just guide us through PhET activity. And without much talk, I want to take you through the activity I used recently with a student of mine. If you start this program, if you're already doing this course in Coursera, you will find out that you can use PhET simulation at different stages of your lesson. You can use it as a tool for set induction, that is introduction. You can use it for a whole class inquiry, and you can use it also as assessment too. So the one I want to display now is an activity I used as introduction to a topic. I'm a chemistry teacher, so I'm using a chemistry sim. Okay. I want us to know this. The topic I wanted to teach the students was atomic number, but I discovered he has little knowledge about the properties of the particles in an atom. He doesn't know the particle that tells you the name of an atom. He doesn't even know the charge of the particles and how they affect the charge of the atom. So because of that, I have to use PhET sim to brush him up in this topic before I introduce atomic number. So it was used for an introductory, as a set induction or introductory class, okay? Now what I did is I gave let me share my screen because I'm going to give us this. We are going to do this together. Let me share the link, and you do this just like my student did, and then we'll find out what we'll get from it. Okay. All right, I just shared the screen, the link to the sim. We are going to use build an atom sim to refresh our memory on the properties of the particles in an atom. Okay, what they do, their functions, and how they affect the charge of an atom. Okay, so when you click the link, you'll be led to build an atom sim. You will see something like this. How are we all there?
No, they can't.
If you're there, can I see you?
Hey, they
Hello?
can just, yes, they can only chat.
Okay, good. All right. So I gave my students, which I'm giving you now, just 5 minutes to explore the sim. No instruction, just play around the sim. But one thing I want us to do is when you click the sim, you make sure you open the periodic table palette. Let me go to the sim and show you what I mean. Just open the periodic table palette and make sure you have the periodic table, the charge opened. We don't need the mass number. Where is my sim? Okay. Let me share the screen. I'm coming, just a moment. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. When you open the sim, it will take you to this place. Then you click the atom screen, okay? Then you make sure you click this. I hope you can see my cursor. So for the purpose of, because of my lesson objective, I will tell them to click the net charge icon to open the net charge. So while they build the atom, they will look at the changes in the periodic table, then the changes in the net charge screen. Okay, so with this, let's carry on with my activity. Okay. So after, if you are playing around the sim, you will discover some things. You will discover that there is a particle that when you add, it will change the name of the atom. You note that down, okay? Since we are not doing this in breakout session, let me do it here myself. If we add proton, nothing will happen here. If you add neutron, sorry. This one. Okay. If you add proton, something will happen at the periodic table. It will bring out H, which is hydrogen. If you add electron or any other particle, nothing will happen at the periodic table. So watch what is happening at the periodic table chart and the net charge chart. And this will guide the student to understand the features of each particle in an atom. When we add electron, the negative charge increases. When we add proton, the name changes and the charge, the positive charge increases. So with this, they will know the particle responsible for the name of an element. So they will know the particle that shows the identity of an element. After this, they will not forget about this any longer. So with this, they will see the particles, the function of each particle, okay? Let me go back. So at your convenience, you can continue to explore the sim, but I need you to do these things for me and give me the response in the chat. Play until you discover the particle that that determines the name of the atom you built. I need you to do the task of 3B and give me the response in the chat. What is the name of the following atoms? An atom with 3 protons, 4 neutrons, 2 protons, 4 neutrons, 4 protons, 4 neutrons. With this, it will help you compare the properties of these atoms. Please, if you've done this, give me the response in the chat. 3B. Please, Blessing, when am I supposed to stop and check?
Okay, I just in like 2 minutes, that would be good. Okay?
Okay, okay, okay. Very good. Someone said lithium, helium, and beryllium. So if you look at this, what we just did, which is correct, what we just did, all the atoms you built have the same number of neutrons, but different number of protons. And because of that, the names of the elements differ. Okay? So with this, the child will know that what determines the name of an element is the number of proton in each atom. With this, I can comfortably introduce my atomic number, okay? Now, there's one thing we should know. Whenever you carry out a PhET activity with your children, or with your students, with your students if you are teaching secondary school students, make sure that after the scene, you will have a summary task on the topic you've taught. It should be a task outside the task of the scene, because your lesson objective there are things you need to cover. So that summary should emphasize on those objectives, because there are a lot of things you will discover in the scene. And without this summary, students may find it difficult to even identify what they need to know. So it will help refine their focus and make them focus on the objective of the lesson. So make sure you have a summary after your activity. So for me, this is a summary of the scene, of everything I did in the scene with respect to my lesson objective. That shows the identity of an element. They will tell me an atom is said to be neutral if it contains dash number of protons and electrons. They will tell me whether it's more protons or equal protons or less protons than electrons. They will tell me I couldn't finish the activity anyway, but we are all teachers. We just need to know how to navigate this, and we can design activities using our lesson objectives. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Yes, Joy, they're asking for the activity sheets. So please, you can send to me. I will share to the group. Okay. So thank you so much. All right. Okay. So I think Joy has, please a round of applause. She really, she uses this every single day. She just used this recently. Please clap for her. And she's told us several ways we can use the PhET simulation. She used it to introduce. In fact, she even used it to check on a prior knowledge, because she found out that this student, she was about introducing a new topic, but this student is not getting a fundamental concept. And she used the PhET simulation to address that misconception. And once the child has gotten it, she can now move forward. So we all know as educators, we know those misconceptions that our students usually have. They don't know what a proton is. They don't know what really happened. What's this proton? You will just say proton, okay, let us cram it now. Proton is this, a mass number is this. So yeah, let us cram. But when you take them through this simulation, please, do you agree with me, my educators? When you take your students through this simulation, one day remember, everly they will never forget that what makes an element create, a mixed element is when we add protons. Do we agree? So you can see how lovely PhET simulation is, and it's free to use. You download, use offline. Okay, so thank you so much, Joy, for this. Quickly, because of my math students, I just quickly want to share a math simulation with you. You know, I've been talking because I know for my math students, one thing that our students don't usually get is graph. All right, I'm going to drop the sim to the graph simulation, okay, which you can play with. Let me quickly drop it. Where's the chat box? Okay, I'm going to drop it in the chat box. All right, this is a simulation on graph. Sorry, this is 11 minutes. Don't worry, in like 4 minutes time, I will stop. Okay, so you can see this for our maths teachers, educators, to know the shape of your graph. You can use this to draft an activity sheet. All right, because you know WAEC just passed, and you notice that when students come out from the mass hall, they're always going to ask their math teacher, "Sir, what is the shape of our quadratic graph? Is it U? Is it N?" Some students will say, "No, it is U. No, it is N. No, it is." You know, everyone. I'm sure we all know that. Okay, so for you to easily, you know, let your students know how the shape of your quadratic graph should be. It's dependent on what our first what is it called? Sorry, forgive my term. The variable of your x square. What particular, is it negative or positive? That is what determines what the shape of your graph. So with this, when playing around with this, you are teaching the students, when playing around with this, where the intercept would be, you are also teaching your students. You can use this to prepare, you can use this to introduce, make an introduction, help them to know, prepare an activity sheet around this, tell the students, play around with this, see, observe what happens. Okay, so this is a math simple sample simulation you can use. There are other maths. Okay, there are other maths. This is for maths, my maths people. Okay, so there are other math simulations here. Go to fed.colorado.edu, select maths, filter maths, and you will see other math simulation you can play out too. For elementary teachers, okay, to teach on fractions, you have this here. Okay, you have on ratios. Where are the ratios? Where is it? You have multiplication, to teach kids multiplication. For my elementary teachers, you have simulations here, okay? And to use to proportion, can you see proportion playground? You can you see, I'm looking for sims for my build a fraction, equality for elementary teachers. You can use this, it's simple ratio and proportions, okay? Number play, to teach kids numbers. This is for elementary, for grade 1, 2, 3. You can, you know, project it on your screen. You can even tell their parents, oh, give them a link to let their kids play around with this particular simulation. It is free and offline. So this is for maths. All right, so thank you so much. And we so humbly apologize for taking your time, okay, for 15 minutes of your time. And I hope you had a wonderful time with us in the second synchronous session. And please, yes, we have some for biology, but not too much. If you remember in the last, the first workshop session, Rebecca said we have just few. All right, but don't worry, I'll be directing you to a particular site that has a lot of biology simulations. Don't worry, I will introduce it to you very soon. I'll introduce you to Lab Exchange. Lab Exchange has a lot of biology simulations you can play around with. But for PhET is mostly focused on maths, physics, and chemistry. But I would expose you to other things. Is it possible to screencast any simulation? Yes, it is. If you can download it, you can screencast it. Okay, you can project it. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. We are going to close today now, and I want you in your chat box, okay, I want an exit ticket. What did you learn today? What did you gain today? What was your aha moment from today's particular session in in the workshop? Can you please type in the chat box? Let's see. How was today's session? Did you enjoy the AI session? talking about activity sheet design, everything. Was it great? Was it awesome? Let us know in the chat box. You're welcome, everyone. I see everyone saying thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, GSI say it was awesome. It was great. Easy say it was great. It was wonderful. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You learned more about activity sheet. Good. AI tools can't replace teachers. In fact, it is even keeping us on our toes. We have to become better assessors of the knowledge we're passing. So as students, since we are disturbed that our students are getting lazy, we have to look for ways to assess our students so they don't fall into that lazy, entrapment. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying, taking our time with us today. Oh, I see great, awesome activity sheet. That's what they learned. AI, insightful. AI has come to help teachers. Oh, using PhET simulation, introduction. Oh, wow. I see a lot of this. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful time. The group will always be open from 12 to 4 p.m., Mondays to Friday, to take every of your issues, any issues you're having. You are going to, drop it down there, okay? And I will open the group for you 12 p.m. Send me the mails. You haven't received this, you haven't anything. We're going to help you counter those issues so you have a smooth sail on the Coursera platform. You finish your course. And please, I beg you, put in the effort, because the second and third course on Coursera, it's going to be a tough one. Let me prepare your mind, but push through, and finish and get that certificate and utilize it. This is what Ms. Joy utilizes. She's an international online teacher. She's an international online teacher. You can use this, okay, to spark engagement in your online teaching or even classroom teaching for promotion. When you're teaching your administrators see this would using innovative tools in your teaching, this will definitely put smiles on their faces and lead to better things. So thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much, Ms. Joy, for taking our time. Thank you so much, Dr. Kemi, for taking our time. Your hotel, I know you're busy after your conference. Thank you so much. Okay, from everyone, please, what's the deadline? Don't worry, we have given you a 3 months. We're giving you a 3-month space to do this, the LMS on the Coursera platform, because we know it's quite tedious for you. And there are some stages where you need to implement and take pictures, evidence that you've implemented an activity sheet. Don't worry, you will see that in our next session on next week, Wednesday, we're going to be looking at implementation, and I'll be taking you through how to implement, gathering evidence of your implementation. All right, you missed the first class. There's a video recording. I must have sent you an email, all right, or on the group. I'm also going to send the video recording of the first class. Also, this video recording will be made available. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you again next week. Thank you, Prof. Are you still there? Do you want to wave a goodbye or say some closing remarks?
God bless you all.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you. So let me stop the recording, okay?